Happy Friday, everyone. Just a little check-in here, just to ask if anybody else is feeling blah. I'm gonna chalk it up to the winter and having had a cold, but I've been in the doldrums lately and having a hard time uh, thinking positively about my future. Um, it can be quite oppressive. I guess this is some tendency towards, anxiety and depression. And I'm not going to my counselor regularly because my health insurance went up so much I can't afford to keep going to her. It's like all these stupid little things that um, if I can step outside of my circumstances and look um, objectively, um, I'm okay. And that's what I try to do. There's an awful lot of self-talk that goes on, especially when I'm in the shower in the morning. Um, it's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're not out on the street. You're not, um, go down the list of things to be grateful for. But I think it's particularly exacerbated by, living in the kind of solitude that I do live in. Um, it's not that I'm not around people. I'm around people. I go to my Aikido group, but I don't have any like super close relationships here. I have one good friend, but we don't even, sometimes we don't talk for like a week or two, and then we get together for a little bit, but it's like, oh, I would love to have people to hang out with and cook with and play board games with. And as an almost 60-year-old, because I'm 59 now, so I can say I'm almost 60. That's really, I have found it for myself personally. That's a really difficult dynamic to create as an older person, because even when I'm with people in a group, whether I'm doing like my seasonal work or whether I'm in Aikido or any of the other groups where I socialize, you're there, and then everybody goes back to, their family, or their relationships, and I come home to Avery, which is not a bad thing, I try to, be open, but I think when the winters can be the way they are, and I don't have a lot of energy, it can be hard to, make that extra push to go, okay, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to create some artwork. I'm going to, go get the screws and the nuts for the enlarger stand. I'm going to, I'm going to clean up, straighten up the utility room and set up my work table for my, for my artwork, for my cyanotypes, for my, darkroom stuff. I'm going to pull out the board and do a, encaustic painting, because what's been happening lately is this tendency to say it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Nothing is good enough. And this is issues. And it's challenging. It's very challenging. The not good enough part, I'm not sure where that comes from. There's part of me that kind of knows that I could be putting out this extra push, this extra effort, that gets bogged down in my interpersonal life or lack thereof. not having a really, really strong, intimate kind of support system. And that is not to say that my acquaintances here aren't wonderful people. It's just that, that for me, the type of person I am, it's like, it has to be, I don't know, there has to be a very specific kind of resonance that I feel. And maybe that's my problem. I don't know. Or I shouldn't say it's my problem. It's just the way it is. Which leads me to this other thing I was going to talk about. So I'm on a couple of online dating sites that, every once in a while I get into conversation with somebody and it just sort of falls flat. And quite frankly, there are a lot of men that I'm just not attracted to at all. And I don't want to go out on dates with somebody that, I can already recognize there's not a lot there. Because a lot of them don't even want to write coherent, kind of conversations. So anyway, I was going to say that I find it interesting on dating sites, especially, I don't look at women's profiles. I have no idea what women put out there. But men have a tendency to play up, what they've done in their careers and all the places they've traveled to and how they're stable. Or just, they make it sound like they're very balanced and they say things like, no drama, I don't want any drama, no baggage. And it's like, I think that's bogus. I think everybody has baggage, and I would rather have a person say, I've struggled with shit, but I'm working on it. And I'm looking for somebody who struggles with their shit too and is working on it. And we can work on it together, that sort of thing. But nobody says that. Nobody says, I'm kind of depressive. Or I've got anxiety issues. Although I'm tempted to put that in my profile. I'm tempted to say, if you're looking for somebody that doesn't have baggage, that's not me. I don't think anybody gets out of life without baggage. It's not so much about not having baggage. It's about how you handle your baggage, right? So anyway, but that's like, I'm kind of over it. I just don't have the energy to put a lot of energy out there. But at the same time, it's sometimes very difficult to get through the winter months alone. And, I've been going through my photo archives and seeing pictures of my old life. And that can be okay and that can be hard at the same time. I was going to say something else about something. What was I going to say? God damn it. Baggage, being with people. Oh, I had a horrible dream last night. I had a horrible dream that my family was laughing at me. It was something to do with a car and having to go back to pick something up somewhere. And it was frustrating because nobody wanted to help me. They were like all socializing. And when I basically kind of acted out, people just laughed at me. And that just like broke my heart. It was like, I read something recently about women carrying, the emotional weight in relationships frequently and being told either they're nags or they get hysterical or whatever. And for me, as far as whether I'm crying or, I don't typically get angry, but it's like, God, I just want somebody to hear me. I just want them to hear me and say, okay, I hear you. And I think a lot of my stuff, particularly my self-worth stuff, the not being good enough, comes from just not being heard. Growing up, it wasn't a matter of, it was kind of a weird kind of emotional neglect. Neither of my parents were very well skilled at parenting. I mean, they weren't abusive, but there was a lot of emotional neglect there. because they had the same thing, right? So, God, that was made me so sad in that dream. So anyway, it is a strangely warm day. It's going to be about 70 and rainy, so I have all the windows, most of the windows open. There's a whole bunch of condensation on the outside because I think the air, these are like double pane windows, and the air in between is so cold on the outside. It's so warm now that there's condensation all over the place. So it's Friday. I think I might take myself out to dinner tonight. One of the new people on the mat at Aikido is a bar. It turns out I recognized him. He had a shirt on from this restaurant that I like at practice the other night. And I said, do you work at Laura Lee's? And he said, yeah. And I said, what do you do? And I knew before I asked him what he did. He said, oh, I'm a bartender. I said, I knew I saw you somewhere before. So I may go this evening and go a little bit early. I think they open at 4, between 4 and 5, and sit at the bar and tell him to make me something good. And this week, I don't know. This weekend, I don't know. It's supposed to maybe be getting cold again. I do have some ideas for photo encaustics. I've got these cloud photos that I did from the airplane on one of my flights back and forth. And they are cross-processed colored film. They're slide film and they're cross-processed, which means that slide film is usually developed in a particular kind of chemistry so that when it's done, you see the actual positive image, like, you know, it's transparent. When you cross-process it, you process it in the chemistry that is meant for negative film, so it turns out like a negative, so that when I scan it and turn it positive, the colors are all funky and tweaked. And so I've got these 3 wonderful cloud photos that are kind of purplish, and I was thinking those would be great to do on the Goyu paper, and then dip them, and then get like a long, either do a triptych with them, either in a horizontal frame or a vertical frame. And that might be nice, because I have to start making artwork again. I have to figure out a way to make money. That's the other thing that's very difficult for somebody who's always saying they're not good enough. So there is my little whiny ass kind of rant. It's not a rant. It was just wearing my heart on my sleeve or something. I don't know. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're not sick. The flu's been bad for a lot of people. Mine isn't too bad. I'm still having some kind of weird coffee thing. But anyhow, I wish you well. Bye-bye.